Hello, my name is Tommy, aka Tiny Bean on TikTok, and I'm here to introduce Chapter 1 of a collaborative writing project introduced by Rowan Val, also on TikTok. Um, how it works, they spin a little wheel, and that gave you something you had to include in the chapter, which for me was something about elves remembering. And then there was a cube, which kind of told you the genre, and I got cozy/children fantasy. So let's get started on chapter 1. Chapter 1: A Timeless Tradition by Yen Tanvi, aka Tiny Bean. Across the land of Ramella, near a meadow surrounded by forests, is a village filled with elves. Their homes are built with woods and logs, some with stones, depending on the owner's preferences. On the outside, there are lanterns that rest in window sills or on door handles, and some even have vines on the roof, passing the window, or on the walls, though there are a few houses left undecorated. In the center of the village, there is a very large unlit bonfire. Surrounding it are light brown wooden benches with little cobblestone slabs that create a path in between, leading to and away from the bonfire. Behind the houses, three large buildings that seem far too plain, but the building in the middle has a large bell. Inside that same building, elves of all kinds chatter amongst themselves, and the five leaders of the community sit in the front, waiting for all to settle down. When things did calm down, the one on the far right spoke. Elves of Rivella, it is time for our annual celebration, the Festival of Unity. You all should have your assigned roles. He glances at some of the older folks in the room before continuing to speak. And we will have 3 days to prepare. If any of you have any questions or need assistance, remember, you may ask your leaders or you may ask neighbors. You are now dismissed. Enjoy yourselves and make things beautiful. Cheers erupt through the building, some people nearly bouncing with excitement. As the elves exited the building, some of the younger elves went into playful mode. They started running in the village, chasing each other while laughing. The older elves were beginning to give out orders for the more stubborn ones into helping out, like collecting tons of wood, or even help creating the banner's designs. People were already huddled into groups, starting to write songs or play with instruments as they prepared for their celebrated tradition. And this is a community within a community. For example, the non-magical elves, they came together and began to make a list of all the craftable items, such as lanterns, signs, and banners as well. Then some assisted the magical elves with their responsibility, like some of them will tend to the plants and flowers that the nature elves grow. They even collaborate together with shadow and light elves to help prepare and discuss what entertainment will show. It is a lot of work, but it's a cherished event that won't change for centuries. In one of the houses, there was an elder. She wasn't one of the leaders now, but some say she's a guide for the community. If anyone needs help, with powers or none, you can always depend on her. Lying in a wooden twin bed, a woman by the name of Lamora, with blonde, white-streaked hair that beats at her shoulders, sharp blue eyes, and slight wrinkles on her face and body, she sleeps soundly with the front of her body facing the wall. The blanket lazily covers her as some parts of it dangle off the bed. With gentle but audible footsteps creeping closer to her, a firm hand gently shakes her shoulder. "Mother," the man states, continuing to gently shake her until she stirs, "it's time to wake up." Lamar groaned softly, a bit irritated from being woken up after a wonderful sleep. She flips to the other side, now directly staring at her son, Lithrin. She glares at him lightly as Lithrin has a small grin on his face. He has light brown hair with faded blonde on his ends and softer blue eyes to match his fun personality. "Good noon, Mother. I hope your sleep was restful. Tell me, did you dream of anything?" Lamora let out a soft sigh, sitting up slowly as she rubbed her eyes and then her cheeks. I slept fine, dear, though sleep always brings me joy. It's nice to see the sun sometimes, she says, moving her hand to cover her mouth as she yawns. Elizabeth takes a moment to take a step back, giving her room to step out of bed. She lets out a sigh, walking over to push open the curtains, the brightness from the sun peeking into the room. Elizabeth's smirk turns into a small smile as he watches his mom start to wake up. They're all beginning to set up for the festival. It's certainly exciting, but I'm sure there'll be a few bumps during setup. Happens all the time. Of course, you can't have a celebration without a few moments of panic, she says, her first smile of the day appearing on her face as she looks around at her now lit room. Now, if you would, please leave my room. I have a day to prepare for. Linton chuckles softly, nodding as he makes his way to the door. Yes, ma'am. If you need me, I'll either be at the house or starting to collect firewood with the others. Love you. Love you too. Linton chuckles, grabbing the door handle and leaving her bedroom and the house as he looks at everyone working together. It is certainly a beautiful thing, truly. About 30 minutes later, Lamora steps out of her house, hearing the gentle chatter of her community and the soft rustles of the leaves. She wears a gray robe-like shirt with wet leggings and her hair in a messy bun. She takes a deep breath, her shoulders rising and slumping after she exhales. Lamora begins to walk towards the center where the unlit bonfire was, and only a few of her neighbors were there waving at her. Ah, look who finally woke up. I was starting to think she was under some spell. One joke, getting a few warm laughs and a playful eye roll for Lamora. You could certainly say so. Was it at least restful, Lamora? You must have had a busy day yesterday watching the kids. Lamora can't help but smile before raising both of her hands lightly. I must say it was. After running and telling stories, these kids still have so much energy. I'm surprised that I got any sleep at all. Oh, but never mind that. Did my son pass through here? He asked me to meet him after I got dressed. The small group glances at each other before Yemma, a younger woman, speaks up. Oh, I believe I saw him talking to the wood elves by the dirt trail. Ah, thank you, Yemma. Enjoy the rest of your day. She waves at them before walking past more groups, getting closer to the inner village's border. There she finally spots her son, petting a sparrow bird as he talks to a friend of his, Mallow, before Lamora calls out to him. Lith, boy, is this the work you're doing? Petting a bird. Ah, I didn't know you were an animal whisperer, she teases before Mallow speaks. Ah, hello, madam, Lamora. It's been a few days since I've seen you. Where have you been? Oh, I've been well. You're staying out of trouble too? It would be a shame if I forbade you two from seeing each other. Best friends from a distance, no? Lizard rolls his eyes with a smile as Mallow gasps loudly, a hand to his chest, and turns his head dramatically. Oh, please! Separated from my dear friend after years? Well, you may have some power, but we are still adults. We will not bend to your will. Then Mallow sits on the ground, fighting back a smile before Lamora shakes her head, laughing lightly. Lizard nudges Mallow with his foot, annoyed but amused. You act like a child, Mallow. I'm surprised that no one put you on babysitting duty yet. The kids would love you. Mallow opens his eyes, that smile finally on his face, before he hears his name called. He got up, dusting his clothes off. Ah, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Mallow runs off to a grove not too far away before Elizabeth grabs a handful of berries nearby, holding them out for his mom. Lamora smiles, grabbing a berry or two and quietly starting to eat while looking around at everyone working hard, both the elves and the animals. Then a pair of rapid footsteps, then another and another. The crunch of leaves grows louder with every second, and then three kids suddenly appear in front of Lamora, panting as if they ran for hours. One of them was Lamora's granddaughter, Ella. Grand, is it true? Lamora pauses her sacking, glancing down at Ella and her friends, a bit confused and concerned. Lizard watches quietly, crossing his arms. Is what true, child? That they were giants and humans and dwarfs too? And bird people? Or any type of animal people? Lamora had a look of surprise on her face, her eyes widening for just a moment. Some of the other elves nearby lowered the volume of their conversation, wanting to see what would be said next. As for Lithman, his body tensed slightly before he walked next to his mother, crouching to see the children's faces. Where did you hear such stories like that? His voice was quiet but stern. He tried to analyze what to do or say next, but he was a bit nervous to hear their answer. From the village storytellers, Dimples, one of the kids answered. He was showing us the magic. Are they real? The children looked up at them with a hint of curiosity in their eyes, as it seemed like everyone had suddenly gotten a bit quieter around them. Then Lamora let out a soft laugh before gently rubbing Ella's head. Oh, children, those are just stories. Fiction. I'm surprised Dimples could make that illusion trick happen. He'd been wanting to show it off for weeks. A few moments of silence as the kids stared at each other before looking up at Lamora. So they aren't real? No, only tales, young ones. Now off you go play. Maybe you can ask Dimples to read you more stories. Or, I heard they were letting some of you younger elves make your own flags for the festival. Do you guys want to do that? Their disappointment was replaced with excitement as they cheered happily as the other elves seemed to have relaxed enough to continue their conversation at a normal volume instead of a quiet volume. The children then run off to where they were decorating the banners, and a slow sigh escapes from Lamora as Elizabeth stands up, looking at the back of her head. Do you think he told her much, Mother, about the other creatures? She sighs, turning to face her son as she shakes her head. No, it's fine. It's fiction, really. It's only been us for as long as I can remember. Elizabeth frowned, scoffing lightly. Fiction, really. So what we remember of them is highly unspoken of. But if we tell her what we know, we'll only end up confusing her. And as much as I would love to speak to her about it, you know the rules of the Elder. What happens in the past must stay as a memory. If we have questions that remain unanswered, then so be it. Both of them let out a sigh. Unforgotten memories, but tales as old as time. All adults and elderly elves remembered that it wasn't just them. Long ago, there were humans, dwarfs, werewolves, everyone was here, and the festival was one of the many events that everyone came together for, despite differences. Then, one day, on the third day of the festival, they all vanished. Some tried investigating, but most of the elves thought it was either a curse or a blessing in secret. But did they dare learn more? No. They continued to celebrate the festival, a timeless tradition that went on for centuries. Still in peace and still together, but with a smaller group. Lamora and Lithrin, they are one of the few elves that, even though they continue the routines as normal, I can't help but wonder if others were really here, or if it was just some heavy illusions. Nonetheless, everyone keeps chattering and preparing for days of fun. The day seems to go by very slowly, but everyone is hard at work. Lamora is watching over everyone and helping the others find their setup spot for certain activities during the festival. Lithrid is helping people build things or move them around, and Ella, she's playing with her friends still, excited for the festival and following instructions from other adults. Even though they have prepared only a little, they still have a couple of days to perfect everything. It is later in the evening, about 6:45 p.m., and the Trollin family, Lamora, Lithrid, and Ella, are all at home eating a warm berry soup. Gentle music can be heard outside of the home, or as Lamora calls it, the sounds of the wind. It's a magic spell to ease some people's sleepiness. Anywho, They enjoyed their dinner, quietly chatting about their day, what they did, usual dinner activities. A couple minutes later, after the lizard sends Ella to her room, he and his mother stare at the wall, enjoying each other's company even in quietness. Lamora lets out a small huff before standing up, dusting off her dress. Well, I should be on my way now. Thank you, sir, for inviting me to dinner. She smiles softly, kissing him on the cheek as she walks out the door. Of course, you're always welcome here, no matter what happens. He stands by the door for a second before opening it. You be safe out there, Mother. I do not wish to hear your frightening tales of frogs jumping on your windows. Lamora laughs, rolling her eyes as she waves at him before walking off towards her house. He shuts the door, letting out a sigh as he runs his hand through his hair. How did I get involved like that? And that's where we end chapter 1. If you're interested in participating in this, you can head down to Rowan Bow's TikTok and find that same video. I'll link it in the description. And yeah, if you want to read more, let's get excited. I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, I'm excited. And if you're excited, let me know. Okay, bye.